You want to know what the difference between the Broncos and the Raiders is? When the Broncos climbed to the top of the AFC West, they stayed there for 5 years. The Raiders couldn't even hold on to second place in the AFC West for more than a season. Oh, Raiders. God knows I hate you. I hate you with all my stupid little heart. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon Perna, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We've heard John Elway say that. Some of the Broncos coaches and players say it, and it is wrong and stupid. That's the dumbest fucking thing Albert Einstein ever said. The definition of insanity is a cardio-based workout led by Shaun T, guaranteed to get you shredded abs, and if you do insanity over and over again, you will get different results. You'll go from being flabby and overweight to being fit, shredded, and most importantly, confident. Welcome to my new sponsor, I'm just kidding. The real definition of insanity is the state of being seriously mentally ill, madness, extreme foolishness, or irrationality. Whoever started saying that shit in the organization about the definition of insanity needs to stop. You know what makes football teams good? Practicing the same plays over and over again so when the game comes, they can fucking execute them. Sports, music, sex, practice makes perfect. Einstein also said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Great, Paxton Lynch doesn't need to know the playbook. He can just fucking imagine an offense in his head. This is Broncos versus Raiders preview. Fucking stupid. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. There's a link in the description. Use my promo code ThatsGood and you're gonna get $20 off your first ticket purchase on SeatGeek. That's right, any ticket purchase. You can get tickets to any of the football games. Oakland, I'm sure you can get them for very cheap right now. I like SeatGeek because they rank all their ticket prices so you know what kind of deal you're getting and you can preview your seat before you buy it. Promo code ThatsGood, SeatGeek. All right, let's start this off. Mike McCoy versus Ken Norton Jr. You've got offensive coordinator Mike McCoy, who has had success with Trevor Siemian and success with Brock Osweiler, facing off against defensive mastermind Ken Norton Jr. The Raiders secondary has been so good this season that they don't even need to intercept passes. Their 0 picks on the season are #1 in the NFL for being the worst. So what? They don't get a lot of picks. They must be good at rushing the passer with Khalil Mack, right? Yes! They are also #1 at being the worst in the NFL with 14 sacks on the season. Mike McCoy masterminded the brilliant performances with Brock Osweiler, a passer so good he completes just above 50% of his throws. That's unheard of. And Trevor Siemian, who has lost 159 yards due to sacks, which is 8 more rushing yards than Devontae Booker has on the season. Both QBs have finished this year with more interceptions than touchdowns, a stat that would have been ruined had either of them been allowed to play the Raiders this week. Wait, what? Oh, I apologize. I have some breaking news. Mike McCoy and Ken Norton Jr. were fired earlier this week. Had I used the internet just once, I would have known. You know what? Shut the fuck up, Jeff. Shut the fuck up. You can be a real asshole after Thanksgiving. Yeah, get out of my ear, Jeff. Get out of my ear, you fake fucking producer. I'm sorry about that. I apologize for losing my temper. I guess none of those stats are good. And Bill Musgrave will be the Broncos offensive coordinator and John Pagano will be the Raiders defensive coordinator. I'm sure you've realized this by now. Mike McCoy was once the Chargers head coach. John Pagano was his defensive coordinator. Bill Musgrave was the Raiders offensive coordinator last year, who, by the way, led the team to its only good offensive season in 15 fucking years. But the brilliant Jack Del Rio, former Broncos defensive coordinator, and Reggie McKenzie, Raiders GM, decided he wasn't worth the money to retain, like a certain Wade Phillips here in Denver. The Broncos promoted Joe Woods, and the Raiders promoted Todd Downing, a man whose last name says the team is going down. The coaching tree in the AFC West is more incestuous than all of Westeros at this point. Last season, Del Rio was critical of now Broncos offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave after a couple of games. Apparently, after the Broncos ripped the chains off of Oakland in the finale, Del Rio wondered why running back Latavius Murray only had 5 carries during a game with backup QBs Matt McGloin and Connor Cook. My question is, why as a head coach are you wondering that? You're the fucking head coach. You should realize that during the game and talk to your offensive coordinator while you still have time on the clock instead of shitting on him after the game. Hey Bill, could you stop calling so many passes? Let's run the ball, please. That's bad head coaching. Not completely bad offensive coordinating from a guy stuck with 2 shitty backup quarterbacks. You fired the guy who helped you create the 6th ranked total offense in the NFL, who was 7th in scoring, and kept the guy who had the 26th ranked defense. I know coaching personnel decisions are complicated. Everyone has relationships in the NFL, but a very basic premise for success is keep the guy doing well, get rid of the man underperforming. John Elway tried to do that. He replaced most of the underperforming offensive coaching personnel for the Broncos, but also let the good guy walk on the defensive side of the ball because of money. That said, even with Wade Phillips here this year, maybe this team wins 1 or 2 more games max right now. Personally, I still like Joe Woods, and I firmly believe if this defense received any help from the offense, it would be dominating. The Broncos defense has been asked to carry this team for about 45 straight football weeks now. That's just, it's not a recipe for success. I'm just trying to say, for any organization, there's a lot of guessing. However, it doesn't mean some decisions like letting Musgrave in Oakland go make any goddamn sense. Coaches need good players need good coaches, and they all need good health and a little luck along the way. That's nice. That's a nice way to put it, right? I mention all of that to help us understand why we are here. The 3-7 Broncos at the 4-6 Raiders facing off on Sunday. And sadly, the most interesting thing to talk about has been all the crazy coaching changes for both of these organizations since last year. Right now, the Broncos are starting their 3rd quarterback this season, and both teams firing coordinators in the same week. Does any team have an advantage over the other? No. They're equally inept at this point on the field. Well, Derek Carr is Oakland's only hope right now. He is the advantage they have and the one true advantage, I think, in this game. All right, so let's look at Paxton Lynch versus a terrible Oakland secondary. If you were dreaming of a scenario to start a quarterback you hoped was the future, but just weren't sure he was ready yet, this is that scenario. Oakland has one corner to watch out for, and that's TJ Carey. Safety Carl Joseph is pretty good as well, but if I'm Musgrave, I tell Paxton Lynch, throw towards Dexter McDonald and Sean Smith, or look for linebacker mismatches with Navarro Bowman and Corey James. Right now, they are terrible in coverage, which is great for a young QB. Short passes across the middle could be open, and if you give an empty backfield look, as the Broncos, you're guaranteed to find mismatches. I have no idea what the offense will look like with Musgrave and Paxton, but it will be different, possibly exciting. I will say though, one interception by Paxton Lynch against the Raiders is already worse than any other QB that has faced them this season. I'm partially kidding, as the Raiders defense could look very good with Pagano calling the plays. There's so much unknown right now. I also think Pagano is a good defensive coordinator. He gave Manning the most issues in the AFC West. Is Musgrave a good offensive coordinator? I'm not sure yet. He had Derek Carr, a top 3 O-line, and Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree last year. He literally has none of that now. And as the Broncos QB coach, You could say he failed to help make Trevor Siemian and Brock Osweiler better before McCoy was fired. We also learned the Broncos waived Lorenzo Das because he was late to a meeting, and that a couple fights broke out during practice. You had Connor McGovern fighting Zach Kerr, Chris Harris fighting Isaiah McKenzie, Aqib Talib supposedly having a serious talk with Elway on the sideline, whatever the fuck that means, and Isaiah McKenzie was emotional after practice in the locker room. What does all of that mean? Many are saying it's a great sign. The guys are angry and hungry for a win. Bullshit. They were hangry. It was a Thanksgiving Day practice and they hadn't eaten yet. I'd be pissed off too. Look, these guys want to win every week. They are all competitors and I don't buy into the idea that they lost the will to compete. These fights and emotions are the result of a bad season. And to me, it doesn't make their chances of winning Sunday any better or any worse. The only reason they have a better chance to win this weekend is because the Raiders are playing just as poorly as the Broncos. We're beyond trying to solve the Broncos' performance problems. It's not one guy or even one unit or one coach. Maybe they're all taking it too seriously. Maybe they just need to go out there and have fun. Nobody ever looks like they're having fun except Domata Peko, and he tends to play well. So fuck winning, fuck losing. At this point, just figure out how to enjoy playing ball. I heard someone on the radio criticize Peko for celebrating against the Bengals. Who cares? Let that attitude be contagious. I think the team needs more of that. So I am picking a tie game. 23-23. I've picked wins, doesn't help. I've picked losses, doesn't help. So today, we try a tie. And that's the real secret to success. Just have fun, everybody. Woo! I gotta give big thanks to my Patreon supporters. Big dick shout outs to Ben, Fraternal, Leaks, View, Monster Cock shout out to Leon Slab for a $20 donation, Jacob Holder, James Hutchinson, and Beta Frogman. You can support this channel, patreon.com/thatsgoodsports. As little as $1 a month. That's all it takes to keep me alive. We're also sponsored here by betdsi.com, link in the description. BetDSI is one of the best sports books out there. You can wager on any game, any sport that you want. And if you use my code GOOD25, they're giving you $25 free to try out their site. It's $25 free that you can turn into more money, cash out, leave, and say thank you, Brandon Perna, for the free fucking money. Subscribe here on YouTube. Give me a follow on Twitter @BrandonPerna and share these videos on social media.